The morning sun filtered through the trees when the millionaire froze at the sight of a tiny bundle resting upon soft moss. Its delicate breath fluttered gently as though the forest itself guarded the child with ancient, whispering protection. He looked around the silent park, sensing shadows that should not exist, as though unseen eyes watched from afar. The baby's calm face glowed in the warm light, yet something in the air felt wrong, heavy with an unspoken warning. He bent down slowly, trembling from a fear he could not name, drawn to the innocence wrapped in a pale knitted cloth. A faint rustle echoed behind him, distant yet precise, like someone retreating into the deeper hush of the trees. No note lay near the child, no sign of struggle, only an eerie stillness that felt intentional rather than accidental. He lifted the infant carefully, feeling a strange warmth pulse through his palms, subtle yet impossible to ignore. The air shifted sharply, birds scattering as if disturbed by an unseen presence hungry for the baby's return. A cold breeze curled around him, though sunlight still glowed, carrying the sense that time had paused to observe. He held the child closer, unaware that this moment would unravel secrets buried far beyond wealth or reason, and in that quiet instant the park seemed to whisper a truth he would understand only 10 days later, when the miracle came. The millionaire carried the baby from the mossy clearing, feeling an unusual warmth rising from the tiny bundled body. Every step through the park echoed louder than it should, as though unseen eyes tracked him from behind the ancient trees. He tried calling for help, but his voice sounded muted, swallowed by an atmosphere that felt thicker than normal air. The baby slept peacefully, untouched by the strange heaviness, glowing faintly in the sun like a secret waiting to unfold. He checked for clues around the area again, yet nothing hinted at a struggle, a runaway parent, or a recent passerby. The silence pressed harder now, making him grip the child protectively, as if danger could pour from the shadows any time. His phone flickered with static when he tried dialing emergency services, the screen glitching with unfamiliar symbols. Startled, he pulled the device back, watching the display fade entirely as if something near him drained its energy away. A cold shiver crept down his spine, followed by a sudden certainty that the baby was not abandoned by accident at all. He felt the air shift again, carrying that same eerie hum he'd heard moments earlier, growing slightly sharper in tone. The baby's eyelids fluttered briefly, and for the first time he sensed the child might be aware of more than he appeared. Tightening his hold, the millionaire hurried toward his car, unaware that the real mystery was just beginning to stir. The car door creaked open as he placed the sleeping baby gently inside, unsure whether to drive home or to a hospital. Sunlight dimmed unexpectedly, casting long shadows that stretched unnaturally, following him like cautious observers. He attempted his phone again, but it remained dead, powerless, despite the fully charged battery he'd seen earlier. A distant rustle came from behind, not from wind, but from something methodically moving through the grass toward him. He turned sharply, seeing nothing but feeling absolutely certain the park was no longer as empty as it pretended to be. The baby sighed softly, a sound almost melodic, and the strange hum answered instantly from the trees in a low vibration. Every instinct screamed at him to leave immediately, yet curiosity clung to him like invisible hands refusing to release him. He slid into the driver's seat, heart hammering as he sensed time slowing, the world pausing for something unseen to react. The baby shifted again, emitting another faint glow that illuminated the car's interior with an eerie golden shimmer. In the mirror he caught a glimpse of movement, just a flicker, something vanishing as though it never existed at all. He turned the key, and the engine roared to life, breaking the unsettling silence with a force that felt like a rescue. Without thinking further, he pressed the accelerator, carrying the mysterious infant away from the haunting quiet behind him. The drive home felt unusually long, the familiar roads stretching like tunnels as though guiding him toward something unseen. Each glance at the rear seat showed the baby glowing gently, the light pulsing in rhythm with the soft humming in the air. He rolled the windows down, but the strange sound remained inside the car, as if the source lived within the child itself. A tingling sensation spread across his arms, a subtle energy humming beneath his skin whenever he neared the infant's cradle. The baby finally stirred, eyes fluttering open. But instead of crying, he gazed around with a calm far beyond normal infancy. His deep, steady stare made the millionaire grip the steering wheel tighter, shaken by the intensity in those tiny eyes. The baby reached out a hand, and the car radio flickered to life on a dead channel, whispering static shaped like words. The voice-like distortion spoke briefly, too warped to understand, but filled with urgency that chilled him to the core. The baby's glowing dimmed, fading back into peaceful stillness as the unnatural humming ceased without warning. He pulled into his driveway, breath shaky, realizing he could no longer pretend this was simply an abandoned baby story. Something had chosen him, something powerful. And it wasn't an accident he had found the child alone in that silent park. As he lifted the baby again, the front lights of his house flickered wildly, as if sensing something extraordinary arriving. Inside his home, the atmosphere shifted instantly, the air feeling heavier, almost expectant, reacting to the baby's presence. He laid the child on a soft blanket, watching the glow vanish entirely, leaving only an innocent, fragile newborn behind. For a moment, he questioned everything he had witnessed, wondering if exhaustion and fear had twisted simple events unreal. But then the picture frames on the wall rattled gently, moving in sync with the faint, heartbeat-like hum returning again. He knelt beside the baby, studying every detail, from the calm breath to the subtle warmth radiating from his tiny chest. The hum grew clearer, sounding now like layered whispers, as though many voices overlapped, speaking from distant places. He leaned closer, heart pounding, and froze as the baby turned his head, looking directly at him with silent understanding. Those eyes, too aware, too knowing, held something ancient, something that made him feel both protected and deeply unsettled. Suddenly the lights dimmed, and the whispers converged into one warning tone, vibrating through the room like a pulse. He reached for the baby, feeling a soft surge of energy brush across his hands, gentle yet impossibly powerful. The hum stopped abruptly, leaving a thick silence that pressed against the walls as though waiting for his next move. And in that charged stillness, he realized the miracle approaching would change far more than just the child's fate. Night crept over the house as he rocked the baby gently, feeling the air grow colder with every passing whisper in the dark. Shadows shifted unnaturally, stretching across the walls like watching figures waiting for the child to awaken fully again. The baby's glow returned in faint pulses, illuminating his small face with a warmth that felt strangely protective and ancient. He whispered soothing words, unsure if the child understood, yet sensing an intelligence far deeper than newborn innocence. A sudden thud echoed from the hallway, not loud, but deliberate, as though someone, or something, tested the entryway gently. His breath tightened as the baby gripped his shirt, tiny fingers glowing brighter, reacting to whatever lingered outside. The hum grew sharper now, vibrating through the floorboards, a warning rhythm pulsing like a heartbeat from beneath the house. He crept toward the door, clutching the child close, terrified yet unable to ignore the force drawing him to the threshold. The porch lights flickered again, then steadied as a strange pressure pushed against the door from the other side. The baby released a soft sound, half sigh, half tone, and the pressure faded instantly, as though commanded into retreat. He stared at the child in awe, realizing the infant possessed an influence powerful enough to alter the unseen world. Yet even with this protection, a deeper fear formed as he sensed something greater was coming for them both very soon. He moved through the house cautiously, every creak of the floor sounding amplified, as if the walls themselves listened closely. The baby stared ahead with unwavering calm, his glow rising whenever the air thickened with that unseen presence again. He paused near the living room as the windows shimmered faintly, reflecting shapes that didn't match anything inside the room. Outside, moonlight twisted strangely, bending around the house like it was shielding them from whatever prowled the night. The hum changed tone, now resembling a soft chant, layered with echoes that hinted at an ancient language beyond understanding. He held the baby tighter, feeling warmth surge up his arm, a reassurance that the child sensed the danger more clearly than him. Suddenly, the television turned on by itself, displaying static that pulsed rhythmically, matching the glow surrounding the baby. From the static, faint words formed, fragmented warnings, like voices trying desperately to communicate through interference. He leaned closer, heart racing, as the distorted message repeated a single phrase he could barely decipher, "Not yet ready." The screen went black instantly, plunging the room into darkness except for the baby's steady golden shimmer. A chill washed over him as realization struck. Something had delayed its approach, not abandoned its pursuit entirely. He looked down at the child's peaceful face, sensing that the miracle promised was tied to a moment still approaching rapidly. Hours passed in uneasy quiet until the glow around the baby dimmed again, leaving only moonlight brushing across the room. He placed the child in a crib, but the instant contact with the mattress sent a ripple of energy through the entire house. Lights flickered, glass trembled, and the hum swelled like a gathering storm circling just beyond the edge of reality. He backed away slowly, watching as the baby's eyes opened once more, radiating an awareness both powerful and gentle. The child lifted a small hand, and the room instantly stilled, as though time paused to listen for his unspoken command. The hum softened into a single low tone, soothing, protective, wrapping the house in an invisible shield that felt unbreakable. He felt the air lighten for the first time since the park, as though the child had calmed whatever force sought to reach them. Walking closer, he whispered a question he'd never imagined asking an infant. "What are you trying to tell me?" The baby didn't speak, yet a warmth filled the room, a silent answer carrying comfort stronger than words could provide. He sensed a presence forming outside again, but this time it seemed hesitant, held back by something the child projected. The windows glowed faintly, reflecting a soft light that flickered in patterns impossible for natural reflections to create. Then, just as quickly, everything fell silent, preparing the house for a moment he felt would redefine everything he knew. Near midnight, a deep vibration shook the ground, not violent but powerful, trembling with purpose rather than aggression. He rushed to the window, clutching the baby, watching the yard shift under moonlight like waves rolling beneath the soil. A beam of pale light pierced the sky, widening slowly, touching the earth with a gentleness that belied its immense power. The baby responded instantly, glowing brighter than ever before, illuminating the room with breathtaking, radiant warmth. As he held the infant close, the hum transformed into a harmonious melody, calm yet immense, resonating with ancient depth. The beam outside flickered, forming silhouettes, tall, indistinct figures, standing motionless, as if awaiting a sign from the child. Fear and awe collided inside him, but the baby remained calm, raising one glowing hand toward the figures beyond the glass. The melody grew stronger, and the figures bowed their heads, acknowledging the child with reverence that sparked deep confusion. He stepped back, overwhelmed, realizing these beings weren't hostile. They were waiting, watching, expecting something miraculous. The baby's glow expanded, wrapping around both of them like a protective cocoon, humming with an energy beyond comprehension. The figures slowly dissolved into the light, merging back into the beam that pulsed brighter with every passing second. And as the light swelled, he felt the truth approaching. The reason the child had been left in the park was finally awakening. The house trembled lightly as the beam intensified, its glow threading through the walls, filling every corner with warmth. The baby reached toward the ceiling, and the light bent downward, shaping itself around him like an ancient crown of fire. A soft whisper filled the air, clear this time, speaking in a gentle voice that seemed to echo from beyond the stars. The whisper revealed a single truth. The child carried a gift meant to awaken, once he was found by the heart, destined for him. Overwhelmed, the millionaire felt his knees weaken, realizing he had been chosen not by accident, but by a path older than fate. The baby's glow wrapped around him, healing fears, stitching calm into every trembling thought that raced through his mind. The beam dimmed gradually, and the presence outside faded completely, leaving only peace where fear had once stood its ground. The child's eyes closed, slowly, resting again, his glow softening into a gentle aura that whispered promises of protection. He held the baby close, feeling warmth settle inside him, a silent understanding that the miracle had already begun. The house grew still, the hum disappearing entirely as though satisfied with the balance restored in their quiet world. He looked down at the tiny face, now calm and softly lit, knowing his life had been rewritten in a single unreal night. And in that quiet moment he understood. The miracle wasn't an event. It was the child himself, destined to change everything.